Good evening, good evening, good evening, or whenever this finds you. I have some incredible daily news to share with you today. Vice President Kamala Harris's vice presidential pick, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, has just been accused of stolen valor, one of the worst things you can do to the U.S. military. During a recent press conference, Senator J.D. Vance pointed out that Walz falsely claimed he carried weapons during war. In response, J.D. Vance stated, "When the United States of America asked me to go to Iraq to serve my country, I did it. I did what they asked me to do, and I did it honorably. And I'm very proud of that service." When Tim Walz was asked by his country to go to Iraq, you know what he did? He dropped out of the army and allowed his unit to go without him. This has now been proven, and it is a disgraceful story. What Vance was referring to was a clip that the Harris campaign posted of Walz speaking. In the clip, Tim Walz stated, "I spent 25 years in the Army, and I hunt. I've been voting for common sense legislation that protects the Second Amendment. But we can do background checks. We can research the impact of gun violence. We can make sure that those weapons of war that I carried in war are only carried in war," insinuating that he is a veteran that went to war and that he had to fire on enemies with guns while at war. None of that is true. Now, the media's portrayal of Walz as a gun-loving veteran is rapidly diminishing. Not only has he been shown to be a liar, he has many people that served with him coming forward saying, "This dude abandoned us and he never fired any weapons in war." But he's also under scrutiny for his voting history on legislation involving veterans. For instance, in 2018, Tim Walz voted against the bipartisan VA Mission Act bill, which would have expanded hospital access for veterans. In the event government-run hospitals were being too slow, veterans would sometimes be covered to attend a private hospital. How can a veteran vote against helping other veterans? It looks like Harris made a huge mistake picking Governor Tim Walz, but this is only the beginning. More is going to come out on Kamala and her past and Tim Walz and his past. But outside of his inflated military history, Tim Walz is also under flack for his weird voting decisions involving minors. The notable ones include supporting minors getting sex change operations and tampons being put in boys' bathrooms at high school. The last one has earned him the nickname Tampon Tim. Now, as Walz comes under assault, he is able to rest easy knowing that Hillary Clinton and the Democrat machine will protect him. In his defense, Hillary Clinton completely misconstrued the situation by stating, "How nice of Trump's camp to help publicize Governor Tim Walz's compassionate and common sense policy of providing free menstrual products to students in Minnesota's public schools. Let's do this everywhere." Notice she didn't say for girls or women, but for students. She left out the fact that what he was famous for was giving boys tampons. Now, what is a boy going to do with a tampon? The last I saw, it was stick it up your nose if you get a bloody nose. But it's not just Walz who is wildly unpopular. Harris is also suffering greatly. In response to Trump and Vance's recent success with reaching Gen Z audiences through collaboration with influencers, Harris has attempted to do the same. However, multiple influencers have come forward exposing the Kamala Harris campaign for offering them $20,000 to tell people, vote for Kamala. Hey, vote for Kamala. I'm going to vote for Kamala. But they don't mention the fact that they've been paid $20,000. Reminds me of the time that Pfizer tried to pay me $30,000 to tell you to get their piece of crap shot. I refused to do that because I respect you and myself too much. But these people, they're just taking in the money like crazy. Now, one of them was Kai Cenat, who claims that the Secret Service has been spamming his phone over and over again, trying to get him to bring Kamala Harris on his show. Now, thankfully, Cenat stated that even if he did accept the collaboration, he would never let them script his viewpoint. His viewpoint is his own viewpoint. Now, it's really sad to see that Harris is trying to buy votes by buying influencers that have big reach, while Donald Trump literally has people begging to come on his show for free. By the way, hey, Donald Trump, you want to come on my show? It's absolutely free. All right, now for me, I just want to see Harris in an unscripted situation to see how she does. Up until this point, it's now been 17 days since she was endorsed by Joe Biden, and she hasn't given a press conference. While Harris's plane was at the same airport as Senator J.D. Vance, he took the opportunity to walk over and ask the reporters, why aren't you guys asking her to do interviews? Why aren't you forcing her to answer questions? Aren't you guys bored? So he walked over and then answered a bunch of questions for the press pool that follows Kamala Harris around. So kind of a gangster move, but I think that was pretty smart on his part. All right, now check this out. In today's economic environment, the stress of providing for a family and yourself can sometimes be overwhelming. And putting everyday expenses on credit cards only elevates the stress. You have to find a way out of this never-ending cycle. I have an answer for you. You need to call my friends at American Financing. They are helping people just like you turn things around using the equity in their home to pay off high-interest debt. They understand what you are going through. They talk with people like you every single day. And the average person that works with them is saving about $854 a month. $854 a month is over $10,000 in a calendar year. Now, they can close you in as little as 10 days. And if you start today, you may not have to make your next mortgage payment. There is no better time than now to turn your situation around. Call 888-686-8030. That's 888-686-8030, or visit americanfinancing.net/Gardner. Go do that right now. All right, now I want to react to a clip with you from J.D. Vance today because it's really important. Not only are we dealing with the invasion on the border that's making inflation higher, crime higher, taking jobs from Americans, giving these illegals bloated amounts of money compared to our veterans and seniors, but it's also leading to the highest level of human trafficking and drug trafficking that we've ever seen. Check this out.
Mom struggled with addiction for pretty much my entire life. And she's been clean and sober for nearly 10 years now. And that's an incredible blessing for my family, an incredible blessing for my kids to be able to get to know their grandmother. But I really believe that if the poison that Kamala Harris is letting come across the border in 2024 was coming across the border 15 years ago or 12 years ago, I would have never got that second chance with my mom. And we would have never had the opportunity to see her build a wonderful relationship with her 3 grandchildren. And if this campaign of Donald Trump's and mine is about anything, it's about preserving the American dream, and the American dream is sometimes a thing of second chances. We want moms and dads to recover from addiction and get another chance with their kids. We want kids who come from a poor family to be able to stand here and run for Vice President of the United States because it's the greatest country in the world, and we are proud of it, and it provides incredible bounty and incredible opportunity to our people. We want kids who grow up in low-income families to be able to walk outside and walk down the street without being afraid of a violent crime, because violent crime has skyrocketed under the Harris administration. We want police officers to be able to do their job and maybe receive a thank you from their federal government, and not a federal government that makes their job more and more difficult.
All right, now let me know over in the comments, do you know anybody that has overdosed or died because of the fentanyl and the other drugs that are coming across the border? Our family does. It was a tragedy, and over 350,000 people have died under Kamala Harris and Joe Biden because of the open border. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's something that could be stopped. It should be stopped. In addition to stopping the trafficking and the violation of women and children at the border, Something has to be done. We need strong leadership at the border. But let me know if you know somebody, type Y, and if you don't, type N. I definitely want to hear from you. All right, and some really great news. Democrat Representative Cori Bush has lost her seat in Congress after a close primary race against Prosecutor Wesley Bell. Bush was seen as part of the far left progressive agenda, the squad, which likely cost her her seat. Now, in recent history, she's made some very controversial statements concerning Israel and Palestine. She was also one of the 44 people who voted against shutting down the phrase "from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free," which is really just a clever singing rhyme that says "kill all the Jews," right? It's incredibly anti-Semitic. Now, of course, the phrase is anti-Semitic, which is why so many people called for it to be banned, but she wanted it, and so she voted to keep it. She was also the representative who was pushing for defund the police, but then she had private security guards, and she was spending over $200,000 a year of your taxpayer money. And guess who her bodyguard was? Her husband. Her husband. So between the two of them, they were making over $400,000 a year, milking the American people while saying, we got to get rid of police. The police are bad. The police are bad. Well, guess what? There are bad police, but for the most part, they keep our society functioning. They keep crime down. I, for one, am grateful for the police. But again, that doesn't mean there's not bad actors. There's bad actors in every industry. And so anyway, she has lost her seat, and kind of cool. All right, now it has come out that a man was arrested in a murder for hire just one day after the Trump assassination attempt. The man arrested is named Asif Merchant. He's a Pakistani citizen who attempted to have multiple unnamed politicians killed. The man was arrested after the hitman he hired turned out to be an undercover FBI agent. As of now, there is not believed to be a connection with the actual assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. This was a second one that was building. You guys, they've got to keep him safe. I really worry that there is going to be another attempt on President Trump before he gets back into office. So let's just continue to pray that Secret Service does their job well. Now, in international news, White House National Security spokesman John Kirby stated, the war in Gaza is as close as it's ever been to a ceasefire deal. He stated, there is a good proposal before both sides, and they need to both accept that proposal so we can get this in place. We are as close as we think we have ever been. Now, additionally, Secretary of State Antony Blinken has chimed in to confirm the negotiations are in the final stage. While we don't know the exact timeline, it's clear Biden wants this war to end before the presidential election. I want it to end because I don't want any more people being killed. But if he wants it just so that Kamala can be elected, still a good reason to end this war. But hopefully the American people will see through that. Now, this is pretty crazy. Taylor Swift has had to cancel 3 concerts on her European tour due to terrorism threats from ISIS. That's right. ISIS is back under Joe Biden. Under President Trump, they were taken down to their weakest point ever. And now they have infiltrated Europe, and they're threatening to attack people at Taylor Swift concerts. And so out of an abundance of caution, they have gone ahead and canceled those concerts. So pretty wild. All right, now under the Biden-Harris administration, it's made a comeback, and border czar Harris means terrorists and other dangerous criminals are free to enter America and menace people with impunity. And yes, some of them may even try to kill pop stars. So this weakness on the border has allowed terrorists to come into the country. It's allowed drugs to come into the country. It's allowed human trafficking. It's such a tragedy It needs to be shut down. And President Trump has promised to shut it down on day one. I believe it will take longer than day one, but he's already got the executive order written. He just needs to be put in place by the American people. All right, now the Republican National Convention, RNC, has filed lawsuits in several states today to prevent mail-in ballots from being counted after Election Day if they were postmarked on or before the day of voting, saying that such allowance threatens the integrity of the elections. So, I mean, to me, this is like very common sense. Hey, you can't vote after Election Day. But these people were like, well, we gotta let democracy, we've got to protect democracy, even if it means people that show up late or mail their ballot late, or if they're fake ballots, like we got to still count them. So anyway, this is a big move for the RNC, and I hope that it will help lead to a free and fair election. Speaking of elections, the Georgia Election Board also voted to keep all digital ballots for longer than they typically do, and they're going to force the United States Postal Service to prove ballots that went out actually came back. That way we're not just saying, oh, we mailed out 5 million and, a bunch came back. They're saying you now have to be able to prove that. And here's why. Today, the election board confirmed down in Georgia, 1.7 million digital ballots are missing from the 2020 election. That's right. 1.7 million digital ballots gone. Can't find them. Missing. No clue where they went. And this is a state where Trump supposedly lost by just over 11,000 votes. This is a state where literally they brought RICO charges for saying, hey, something's not right. You guys shut down early and then kept counting ballots in Biden's favor. And now they're saying 1.7 million digital ballots gone. His case should 100% be thrown out in light of just that evidence. I mean, this isn't coming from Stephen Gardner. This is coming from hearings that the election board down in Georgia confirmed. All right, now next week I'll be covering the Donald Trump Elon Musk interview. It's supposed to be massive. Out of fairness, Elon Musk has also invited Kamala Harris to join and have a conversation with him so that she also gets the same amount of airtime on the Twitter X platform. So we will see if she ends up taking him up on that. All right, that's my update for today. Please give this video a like because it tells YouTube to share that and because it really helps me out. Also, we are on our way to 1.8 million amazing subscribers that want the truth, that are seeking the truth. So I'll continue to search that out and deliver that to you. You guys hit that subscribe button. All right, I love you. Stay amazing, and I will see you on